Hi there! You're listening to What's New Today, a kids and family podcast about current events shaping our world. This is Sangeeta, your host from India. Every Monday and Friday, I'm joined by a curious child who could be from anywhere in the world, and together we discuss one interesting news story. It could be a story about a recent science discovery, or what some countries are up to, or like in today's episode, we talk about some giant changes going on in a gigantic company called Twitter and what that could mean for you and me. Have you heard this saying? A little birdie once told me a story about something. So, inspired by all these little birdies who happen to be telling many people many interesting stories, a company called Twitter was formed many years ago. A company which allowed people like you and me to tell others our little stories and share our ideas with the rest of the world. But now that little birdie seems to be facing many challenges and it may even soon go extinct. To talk about what's going on in this company called Twitter is my co-host for the day.
Hi, I am Mitansh Rajkotia of Delhi Public School, Kamptee Road, Nagpur. I am 14 years old and my hobbies include reading newspaper, playing football and listening to music.
What kind of music do you listen to?
So I love listening to pop music and I listen to Punjabi music because it's energetic sometimes.
Nice. And you enjoy reading the newspapers. So what kind of news do you like?
I like to read about financial news like regarding stocks and companies, etc. So I read Economic Times for that and I read Times of India for, politics, some mirch masala kind of things.
Politics is mirch masala. Do you have a sense of what you want to do when you grow up?
I'm thinking of being an entrepreneur. I wanted to build a business.
And do you have a role model?
Of course, Sundar Pichai, Gautam Adani these days.
And Elon Musk is not a role model.
He's not a role model, but yeah, I adore him.
So you like Elon Musk?
Yeah.
So which means you must be following what Elon Musk has been doing recently.
Yeah, I've followed it quite a lot.
So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Elon Musk's purchase of a big company called Twitter and what's been going on there. But before we get there, can we play a quick round of rapid fire?
Yes.
I'm going to give you 3 phrases and I want you to tell me what each of these phrases sounds like to you in terms of taste. The first thing is playing a game of football.
It's sweet like Kaju Katli.
Reading the newspaper about the Russia-Ukraine war. What does that remind you of?
Bitter.
The third one, watching a Marvel movie.
Spicy.
Now from there coming to, reading all this news about Elon Musk buying Twitter. What does that remind you of?
It's like a chili and a chaat masala, the 2 main ingredients, I suppose. Because it's taking so many U-turns and, it has so many twists it has brought with it till now. And we don't know what's coming on our way next.
Unexpected taste. So with this whole Twitter saga, for a lot of people, they don't even know what Twitter is. Can you tell us what is Twitter?
So basically, Twitter is a social media platform. And those who don't know what is a social media platform, it is a place where people can interact, share their opinions, make friends.
So the recent news is that the world's richest man, Elon Musk, bought the company Twitter. He paid $44 billion of money to buy this company Twitter. Why did Elon Musk want to buy Twitter?
He basically wants to promote free speech and he thinks there is no existing platform for that. So he bought Twitter.
So was Twitter not allowing people to speak freely earlier?
It was allowing, but not, completely. It was, restricting some tweets, some posts, which were spreading hate speech, I would say.
Twitter earlier did not allow some people who may have said things that hurt others or it might incite hatred or violence and things like that. If Thanos had written something about, how we should be destroying one half of the world, Twitter would not have allowed earlier.
It would not have allowed it.
Now, what kind of speech was Twitter allowing? So if Iron Man and the Avengers were trying to say, let's group together and let's save the world, that kind of speech is allowed.
Yeah, that's allowed.
Can you give me an example of any other one speech that Twitter may not have allowed earlier?
I'll take the example of Harry Potter. So in Harry Potter, Voldemort said that he didn't like Muggles. So he won't allow Muggles to perform magic as well. So that kind of speech won't be allowed by Twitter.
So if Voldemort did exist in the real world, and if he said something to incite hatred against Muggles, Twitter would not have allowed. But Mr. Elon Musk thinks, no, everyone should be allowed. Harry Potter should also be allowed to say what he wants to say. And Voldemort ought to be allowed to say what he wants to say.
Yes.
So that's why Mr. Elon Musk bought Twitter. So now after he bought Twitter, immediately within 2 days, he started telling a lot of employees of Twitter that you will no longer have a job. More than half the employees were said to have lost their jobs within a couple of days of Elon Musk buying the company. Why would he want to let all these people go so quickly?
I think that he doesn't have enough money to pay off its loans. So he fired the employees so that he could reduce the cost and pay back his loans.
So Twitter has more than $1 billion worth of interest that it has to pay every year. Twitter was earlier earning cash flows of about $630 million. So they already had a shortfall of $270 million. So Elon Musk had no choice. He has to find somewhere. He's got to go somewhere to find that $270 million extra cash.
Yeah. So I've heard a news that he's sleeping day and night in the Twitter headquarters these days and working too hard for reviving Twitter again. So
can you imagine sleeping day and night in school before your board exams to score very well?
No, I can't imagine that. I don't want to imagine that.
You don't want to imagine. But if you have to become a successful entrepreneur, maybe someday when you'll have to sleep day and night in office to get your...
That's not a problem, but sitting in school is not quite likely, which I would like.
Now, have you heard about Elon Musk having asked all his employees that they also need to put in really, really, really long hours, like you just described? And he's told everybody, all his employees, that if you're willing to work as hard as, he probably is working himself, you guys will have a job. Otherwise, please leave. What do you think employees would do if they hear something like that from a boss?
I think if I would have been in that place, I would have left the job. Because with so much pressure from your boss, I don't think they should continue with the jobs, because they'll find a good job. Some other company will hire them.
So if your boss asks you to work really, really long hours, Mitansh is unlikely to stick around in that job.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember when we spoke about how Elon Musk wants to make Twitter a place where anybody can speak? Both Harry Potter and Voldemort can share their views. That's the kind of a platform that Elon Musk wants to bring.
Yeah.
Right. But what about the companies who were spending money on Twitter to advertise on Twitter and, from which Twitter was earning some revenues? Did the companies like Elon Musk's approach?
No, they actually have lost trust on Twitter after Musk announced his plans, how he wants Twitter to be like. They are not willing to put their advertisement on Twitter nowadays. They don't want dangerous content to be put on Twitter.
So they will only allow ideas that are positive or safe.
Yeah, they don't want that kind of stuff.
Elon Musk has asked employees to work really hard. if those employees are like Mitansh, they all would have quit by now. Now, advertisers who were earlier spending money on Twitter don't like Musk's idea of free speech. So Twitter cannot earn money from them also now. What do you think will happen next to Twitter?
I think Twitter may go bankrupt, or at least it will suffer huge losses. It will take a lot of time to recover. I think that because it has lost all its revenue model from the advertisers.
If Twitter fails, Elon Musk is likely to lose some of his personal money. Is it just money that he loses, or does he lose anything else?
I think some respect and fame which he had acquired after being the billionaire. He's first in the world, right?
What were Elon Musk's earlier accomplishments? Why have you been so fond of Elon Musk?
Because Elon Musk has built two big companies till now, which is Tesla and SpaceX. And at such a young age, he's 50, I suppose, right now. It's not easy task to build multi-billion-dollar companies like the Tesla and SpaceX. And he must have also been very smart to do that.
So why is he not your role model?
Because he changes his mind very frequently. He needs to be clear in what he wants. Sometimes once he said that, yes, I'll buy Twitter. Then he says, no, I'll not buy Twitter. Then he again says, I'll buy Twitter. So because of that, I think I've lost some of the respect which I had for him.
So much is changing constantly with Twitter. Every morning, if you open the newspaper, I'm sure there's something new about Twitter. So where do we leave our listeners as of now with Twitter?
I think we must leave our listeners with questions. Do you think Elon Musk will be able to rebuild Twitter?
Okay, on that note, we'll move to another interesting part of today's episode, which is
Quiz time.
Question 1. Name any two companies that Elon Musk has built.
Tesla and SpaceX.
Question 2. Why did a lot of advertisers not want to advertise on Twitter after Elon Musk took over Twitter?
Because they have lost faith or trust in Twitter, because they didn't like the idea of free speech and the content Elon Musk was proposing.
How much money did Elon Musk pay to buy Twitter?
$44 billion.
It's Friday, so let me leave Mitansh with a small riddle. What is a mascot for Twitter?
It's a bird.
Do you know what that bird is called? The Twitter bird, the blue color bird, he has a name. It's called Larry.
Oh, okay.
So what kind of topics do you like listening to a lot?
So I like geopolitics, business, climate change, etc. Yeah, all that topics I love.
Which episodes would you recommend to our listeners?
I would recommend episode number 70, in which you discussed about Eiffel Tower and why its lights will remain off this winter.
Thank you so much, Mitansh. It was such a pleasure chatting with you during the course
Me
of this
too.
recording.
I enjoyed it a lot.
And that brings us to the end of this episode. If you enjoyed this banter between Mitansh and I guarantee that you'll find this podcast channel a brilliant way for you to get your regular news updates. So remember to click follow, subscribe, and leave us a rating and review so we know how much you've enjoyed this podcast. And of course, it's the easiest way we'll be able to get our podcast channel across to thousands of new listeners across the globe. So please remember to click the follow, subscribe, and leave a rating and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this. Episodes drop every Monday and Friday, and
Thanks for listening.